there are so many abnormal things in our culture that is still existing in this 21st century that needs to be abolished. You get? I know that many people don't want to have this discussion, especially Christians. They don't even want to have this kind of discussion because of fear, that have been implanted in them by some kind of false stories. But first of all, hear this question first, then we come back to it.
For instance, now, Otam can want to create a originally as name and me want to be. So, all the way so kita, only kiss, can ya one day, Butanaya, Amagi. Okay, all on our wire, get what you ship one, Usoro Catholic, gather you Catholic, and the two. Oyekarism, Okushikwa, we don't want, let's go so Catholic, but all Jesus.
So, do you understand the question? For those of you who don't understand Osoka, the woman is asking, maybe she's carrying a small baby now and she happens to die while this child is still very young. Do you understand? And considering the fact that the child is still young, the child cannot do the funeral just as the Igbo culture demands, that you have to kill cow for your parents before you be able to eat cow meat elsewhere. If not, you're going to die. So he's saying, if the child grew up, if the child now wants to do the funeral, how is the child going to do it? Is he supposed to do it in a way, in a normal way that they do it, being like knowing fully whether he is a Catholic or something like that? Which way can he be able to do that funeral in order to do it in a Catholic way without soiling his hand in traditional of a thing? Okay, now the response that the Father Bishop Godfrey Onah gave to him, I watched different comments from people. People are saying, Bishop, we don't agree with you on this one. We don't agree with you on this one, which is very known because we so much value this tradition of a thing, especially people from Nsukka side. Like, we don't joke with all this tradition, and we always tell those fearful stories of somebody who didn't kill cow for his parents and he happened to eat cow somewhere and he died. All those kind of things. For me, I believe in the response of Father Bishop because I know very well that those things does not exist. Those things does not exist. What exists is the fear. And like I said earlier, fear is very, very bad and fear is very, very brutal. Fear is something that once you get fear of something, it shows evidently in you instantly. Do you understand? Now, Father Bishop is saying here that the problem we have is that we are now in a generation people who still want to live in the past stories of how old people did their own thing, even without knowing the reason behind why the then generation did what they did. Are you getting it? He's saying here that killing of cow or not killing of cow cannot have any effect in you. Like, it cannot cause any harm to you as a person, contrary to the opinions or kind of stories we've heard. And personally, I key into that opinion because as I am now, I don't believe that if I don't kick out for my dad and I happen to go somewhere and eat cow, I'm going to die. No. And my dad actually even made me to have more strong belief in that, because my dad will always, like, repeatedly, right from my childhood, my dad would always tell us that, you see this clean of cow, if I die and you have money, any of you have money that you want to kill cow and entertain people that will come, go ahead and do it. But if you don't have cow, or if you don't have money or you don't want to do it, don't ever bother killing cow. And don't even fear that if you go anywhere and eat this, you are going to die. That nothing is going to happen to you. All my siblings can attest to it. And that's why when my dad died, it wasn't that if I would want to, do funeral for my dad and kill cow for my dad, that I couldn't afford it at that point in time. I could afford it. But I had other things going on that needed that money. You get? Which should be more important to us and me as a person than just using that money to kill cow for somebody who've died. While people who are still alive are not even, they've not even stand so well. Then I will use the money I should use and pursue my career and kill cow for my dad. When my dad died, everybody was saying, are you people not going to do the funeral? I know people not going to do cow. I just told them that the time is coming. You get? Because I know very well I cannot use the fund I will use to better my life while I'm still living and use it to settle somebody who is already dead. Then I'll start scrolling. I'll start how will I put it? I'll start living like somebody who is not alive because I can't even pursue my career anymore. Okay, today now what happens? You will see families that nobody is progressing. All that is needed for one person to start progressing in that family is finance. Just give this person money to go and start up a business. But families, they will never give that person any money. They have landed properties, they will not sell any of those land. Do you understand? to sponsor somebody who is still alive. But because of fear, because of stories we've heard of how if you don't kill cow for this, you are going to die if you eat this, they will sell land to appease somebody who is already dead, while people who are alive are suffering. These are nonsense culture that needs to be abolished in Igbo land. I must tell you. First of all, we should prioritize those who are living, the living, more than the dead. We should only accord respect to the dead. You get? That your parents that you want to sell everything you have to appease them when they are dead. What are you doing now that they are alive? You get? That your father that will kill you if you don't kill cow for him when he's dead. What did he do to make you to be in that state, in that level whereby you can easily afford cow when he dies? Yet some parents are still alive. Their children are not progressing. They have property they can sell and settle their children to move ahead, but they will not do it. Their children are still feeding from hand to mouth. But when they die, they expect you that you should do what? And provide those money and buy all those things and appease to them. Appeasing a dead person when the living are not yet appeased. The living are still not even eating very well. You get? So take a look at what Bishop is answering here.
And I will say it 2,000 times. Memorial service anniversary of Gabu Igbo. And as man wasn't an apple, but not cheated on your home. Opening neck and the mother head, but I am barely run Nagam of Nagam of Tigam of Munigam of one in a cat that day of another button with all. My baby, very happy, pushing the she no hardly said, baby. Bueno, yeti buru ko je wule yama. Aho mi den joy meru. Mi meri go bara ye na bo. Aho mo. No bonne. Obrni wori ne ke mabon na ke maboti ke mabun ye ke mabun ne ke mabon yaga. Ala ru le ke maka na kwale ya. Ije kute shu potane ya bishop. Ma be na ko. Ama mu na watari amni.
What he's saying is that there is nothing wrong that you feel that you are not financially buoyant enough to kill cow for your dad and call people for just to entertain people that your dad is dead. There's nothing wrong on it. But if you have that intention and believe that if you don't do this, your dad will not rest wherever he is, then you are an idol worshiper. You get? And it doesn't make any sense, and such a thing does not exist. Do you get the two Yahweh? He just said now. Let's go ahead.
So Obogo in and I'm not gonna be married. I'm gonna patari many Ofuego for an hour name Megi ha no yama ageka. Imara ni bugo yuka. I can make my gown, I run you, probably I can hear you. I can get on your petty league with the Docomo Larocomo. I no jackie when I'm not the Lego chap. I pay any beginning of the Yama such a man who don't resist. I'm so legally when we look at the Monocomo Macanic Qualagia. No, be bony, be bony as a fridge, be bony of no Laro, Martin, also the Bishop issue. They pay and the council is no excuse. What do you believe? And nobody, take them on one. Nobody can decide what you believe. Only you and God will know.
Imagine. Your belief has a lot.
Now, because also to go mad about what we now. I'll be sure from my father in our and nobody feel any here with the hobo. Uregi, Patara, Zagado, Mogo, half on your round, Yanachi.
Your children are still suffering.
And that's not when you finish. I thought you knew Yagage Jackman. We don't have to come and they will finish. But let me tell you, on the bow, Kakaria, when we get the bone, may again will get Patar me. Now, we can't even the name, may I may Pataria me. The problem no longer exists for us, and we are still applying the solution. Can you know, for example? Nippon Sukadili, Dandi Toma. Nabo, Alronye. No, but all of other and Eguri, Egan Atonshi, and Medici, Abogasha, and Azana, I agree.
So I think we as Igbo people will start progressing so well if we start respecting and valuing the living more than we do to the dead. And most of the things we do for these dead people, we are not doing it out of the sincerity in our hearts, how we love these people, but we are doing it because of the fear in us that if we don't do this, we are going to join them. There's a difference that you are doing something for somebody who is dead just because you want to show the love or the contribution of this person in your life when he was still alive. And when you are doing it because you feel that if you don't do this, you're not safe. First of all, concentrate on those people who are alive. Look around your family. There are people who are not progressing. There are people who are not doing well. Not because they don't possess the capacity to do well, but because of what? There's no finance. You get that money you use to entice or to appeal somebody who is dead. Use that money. Look after the people who are alive. That is the best appeasing, or is it, how do you put it? That's the best thing you can do. Not when somebody is alive, you start selling up all the properties, you start borrowing money, just to make the person to reach where he's going. And you say you're a Christian. if it is an idol worship that is saying this, we see it in the perspective that maybe this is just their own form of worship. But you, that is a Christian, you believe that God died for you, and from the death of Christ, everything is settled. But you believe that if you don't kill animal, your parents will not reach their destination. No. From what the bishop says here, that in the olden days, killing of cows is a sign to show that this man has actually raised children who are buoyant enough. That the man tried in raising children that are very rich, that could afford, because cow was very expensive. So if he could afford cow, it shows that this man really trained his children. Do you understand? So we need to take rid of all this thing and abolish it. Do you understand? Thank you.